This is an art collage novel video. I made this series so you guys can experience the story faster. The video will focus on the character's psychology, the images are for illustration purposes only. Heishan Town is located in a remote area. Although it's not a paradise, I'm just a small president. I don't have the right to know President Ding's whereabouts and information. However, as long as I report young Master Yun's situation here, I should be able to get a reply soon. Yes, there's only half a month left before the opening of planet Tianhuang. I'll stay in Heishan Town and cultivate while I wait for Ling's news. Are there any islands with abundant spirit qi nearby? Yunxiao asked the two. Hanchuan's heart was filled with an indescribable feeling of jealousy. If it weren't for the fact that she was waiting for Ding Ling's news, she would not have been able to keep him here. But at the same time, she was happy for Ding Ling and secretly blamed herself for being so womanly. Besides, young Master Yun was Ding Ling's, so why should she be jealous? But the more he thought about it, the sadder he felt. Zhu Anren thought for a while, then said with a bitter smile, "Young Master Yun, there aren't any islands with abundant spiritual qi within 1,000 miles. Otherwise, Baiming Tianlu wouldn't have needed to run away. If you only want to cultivate for half a month, Tianyuan Trading Company can provide enough supreme-grade primordial stones to build a secret cultivation room for young Master Yun's use." Yunxiao was about to thank her when Han Xian hurriedly said, "The Purple Cloud Chamber of Commerce can also build such a secret chamber. There's no need to trouble President Zhu." Zhu Anren could also see the friendship between Han Xian and Yunxiao, but he did not know what Yunxiao's attitude toward her was. But this was not something he was qualified to care about. He laughed and said, "Then I'll have to trouble Lady Han Xian." After the few of them discussed for a while and understood some things about the East Sea, Zhu Anren took her leave. Han Xian immediately asked Jiang Qianrong to provide all the supreme-grade primordial stones in the Chamber of Commerce and exchange them with the nearby Chambers of Commerce to support Yunxiao's cultivation for half a month. After confirming that the person behind the Purple Cloud Chamber of Commerce was Yunxiao, the new power structure of the Chamber of Commerce in Heishan Town was unstoppable. Only if Yunxiao suddenly died one day would it be possible to cause a change in the structure. The presidents of the Chambers of Commerce were all astute people. They knew that they should take advantage of the situation and look forward. Since there was no way to change the situation, it was imperative to build a good relationship with the Purple Cloud Trade Union. Therefore, many chambers of commerce were very generous in offering some supreme-grade primordial stones for exchange, and they were far lower than the market price. Yunxiao's greatest desire now was to quickly advance to the martial sovereign realm. As long as he could control the Emperor Qi of the Nine Heavens, with his current trump cards, although he could not dominate the continent yet, he could do whatever he wanted. He set up a small spirit gathering array, closed his eyes, and began to cultivate. In just a moment, he suddenly felt a pressure coming from the sky. The Emperor Qi of the Nine Heavens that he longed for was directly turned into a force that shook down, like a meteorite that was about to smash him into pieces. Could they be the guards of the Baiming family? After a brief moment of thought, Yunxiao drew his sword. The coldness of the ice sword froze everything around it, and with a sweep of the sword, it immediately broke the Emperor aura. The secret cultivation room that had just been set up was completely destroyed by the punch and the sword. All the top-grade primordial stones were shattered, and a sea of primordial qi spread throughout the Purple Cloud Trade Union. After the attack, the person's figure flickered in the air and headed towards the sea. Yunxiao's pupils constricted, and his eyes turned as bright as the moon. Looking at the man's back, he recognized who he was. After a brief thought, he turned into a bolt of lightning and chased after him. The sound of their fight immediately alarmed all the people in the Chamber of Commerce. By the time Han Xian and the others ran out, Yunxiao was long gone. Jiang Qianrong, on the other hand, felt the yuan qi that filled the sky. It was only then that she realized that the supreme-grade primordial stones that she had prepared for half a day had all gone to waste. She felt a wave of heartache. After Yunxiao chased for a while, the two of them left Heishan Town and went straight into the East Sea. They flew for at least 1,000 miles before the man in front slowly stopped. Yunxiao also came out and stood in the air as he said coldly, "City Lord Liao, this is a very special way of greeting." The man turned around with a smile on his face. It was Liao Yongbing. Yunxiao thought the man would say something, but to his surprise, the man attacked without saying a word. A blue saber beam instantly cut through the space and cut the seawater 1,000 meters below in half. Although Yunxiao had a lot of tricks up his sleeve, it was still very difficult for him to resist the slash of a mid-stage martial emperor head-on. He directly took out the Divine Realm tablet, and the power of the world extended in the air, crazily devouring the saber chi that filled the sky and flying toward the saber light. Boom! With just one blow, the Divine Realm tablet lost all its light and was sent flying back, together with Yunxiao. The sea water was pulled by the aftershock, creating a huge rotating force. A huge current went against the sky and shot straight into the sky. The Divine Realm tablet was connected to Yunxiao's mind, so he was also shaken. His internal organs were damaged to a certain extent, and he coughed up a mouthful of blood. Holding the brick-like Divine Realm tablet, Yunxiao glared at Liao Yongbing, who was at the other end of the ocean current pillar, his eyes full of anger. Liao Yangbing's strength should be about the same as Mo Xiaochuan's. With his Transcendence golden body and Halian Xiaowang's help, the chances of killing Liao Yangbing were quite high. While he was hesitating, Liao Yangbing suddenly burst into laughter in the distance and came to Yunxiao's side in a few flashes, a happy look on his face. Yunxiao wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and said coldly, "Is it funny? If you can't give me an explanation today, the city lord of Haitian town will have to be replaced." Liao Yongbing naturally didn't believe him, thinking that he was just trying to save face. He laughed and said, "It's not funny, I'm just very happy. Young Master Yun's strength has indeed not disappointed me. I think we can have a good talk now." Yunxiao suppressed the anger in his heart and said coldly, "That slash just now was to have a good talk?" "Of course. If Li Yunxiao, who is known as the #1 rising star, can't even take a strike from me," Liao Yangbing said indifferently, "he has an undeserved reputation, and I'll just kill him. Only if you can take one of my attacks will you have the right to talk to me." He could see the anger on Yunxiao's face, so he smiled indifferently and said, "Young man, don't be angry. This was the reality of the world. If one didn't have a certain level of strength, how could they play happily together? I know you still have some tricks up your sleeve, but I'm the same. Only idiots would get angry and fight." Yunxiao was surprised. This Liao Yangbing looked carefree, and he was even tricked into the trap by him during the matter of the Thunder Wind Chamber of Commerce. At this moment, it seemed that he was not a simple person. Perhaps he had taken advantage of the Thunder Wind Chamber of Commerce on the surface, but in fact, he had also helped the other party. This was the first time he realized that he had misjudged someone. He couldn't help but size the other party up a few more times before saying coldly, "I hope City Lord Liao can remember this. Don't get angry with me in the future." Liao Yangbing's eyes narrowed into a line as he laughed. "Of course I won't. I'm already so old, why would I be angry with you juniors? Young Master Yun, you're indeed not an ordinary person to be able to dispel your anger with a single sentence from me." At this moment, Yunxiao's mind had completely calmed down. He secretly circulated his qi to slowly heal his injuries while waiting to see what the other party would say. If he was not satisfied, he might have to use his trump card and wipe the other party out. Liao Yangbing thought that Yunxiao would sneer at her, but after a while, he found that Yunxiao was silent and just meditating. So, he said with a bitter smile, "Young Master Yun's temperament is indeed extraordinary. I've invited young Master Yun out this time because I have something to discuss with you." He deliberately spoke vaguely, hoping that the other side would answer him. But after waiting for a while, Yunxiao still had no expression on his face, and he did not know if he was listening to him again. This made him, who was used to being a city lord, a little unaccustomed to having a large group of people echo his words every time he spoke. How could he know Yunxiao's thoughts? He wanted to buy as much time as possible to heal his internal injuries. He thought that Yunxiao was so calm that he could not help admiring him in his heart. So, he stopped beating around the bush and said directly, "I invited young Master Yun out to form an alliance with you to fight against the Baiming family together." "Oh?" Yunxiao's eyelids twitched, but he continued to regulate his breathing with an expressionless face and did not say another word. Liao Yongbing waited for a while more, and felt that this conversation was a little suffocating, as if a big stone had been stuffed into his chest. He was a little angry, and said unhappily, "Are you interested, young Master Yun?" Yunxiao rolled his eyes and gave him a sidelong glance, then turned back. After that, he simply closed his eyes and regulated his breathing. "This Ing Luo, you Ing Luo." Liao Yongbing finally pulled a long face and said angrily, "Young Master Yun, what do you mean by this? Give me your opinion." He called out to Yunxiao several times, but the latter remained silent. "I'm furious. What the fuck do you mean by that?" Liao Yongbing finally went crazy. He condensed his qi and pressed down. Yunxiao suddenly opened his eyes, which were shining like stars, and said in a cold voice, "I was injured by City Lord Liao's saber attack just now. I'm currently recuperating, so don't disturb me." "You coward." Liao Yongbing was so angry that he almost vomited blood. He stomped his feet and said angrily, "Could it be that you're so injured that you can't even speak?" After Yunxiao said those words, he seemed to have heard nothing and paid no attention to anything. Liao Yongbing finally broke through the limit of his patience, and with a gloomy face, he struck out with his palm. Yunxiao slowly opened his eyes and retreated hundreds of meters in an instant. With his hands behind his back, he said coldly, "City Lord Liao, what do you mean by this? You want to add injuries to my injuries? Didn't we already make peace and agree to have a good talk?" Pfft. Liao Yongbing finally spat out a mouthful of blood and roared, "You motherfucker. You also know that you need to have a good talk. Fuck." Yunxiao sneered as he looked up at the sky and said slowly, "City Lord, please don't be angry. Impulsiveness was the devil in this world. If one's mind was clouded by anger, how could they have fun together? I know you still have some tricks up your sleeve, but I'm the same. Only idiots would get angry and fight." Liao Yongbing felt dizzy. Yunxiao had slightly modified what he said and returned the favor. He found that the other party was really cheap, so cheap that he could not help but want to crush him into a pulp, if he was not of any value to him. Yunxiao saw that the other party was almost done with his anger, and that his chest would explode if he continued, so he said, "I've almost fully recovered from my injuries. Is there anything I can help you with, City Lord Liao?" Pfft. Liao Yongbing spat out another mouthful of blood, which meant that he had wasted his words. His eyes were filled with hatred and complicated emotions. He seemed to be considering whether to fight or make peace. After a long time, he finally suppressed his anger and revealed an extremely ugly smile. He laughed dryly and said, "Of course I won't be angry. It's my fault for causing young Master Yun to be slightly injured just now, so it's only right for me to treat my injuries first." He repeated the question he had asked earlier, and the veins on his arms bulged slightly. If Yunxiao still pretended to be deaf and dumb, he would kill him without saying a word. Fortunately, Yunxiao's answer was quite straightforward this time. "Form an alliance to resist the Baiming family? We're all going out to sea together, aren't we all friends of the alliance?" Liao Yongbing returned to normal and laughed. "Young Master Yun is a smart man, and you can see that there are some conflicts between you and the Baiming family. After all, they're a super force, and we're just a bunch of scattered soldiers. If we don't unite, it's hard to guarantee that we won't suffer a big loss." "Then, what kind of unity is it?" Yunxiao asked calmly. "First of all, both sides must be extremely sincere," Liao Yongbing said seriously. "Only then can we be at peace." In that case, Yunxiao interrupted, "City Lord Liao, please share the text message with us." This Ing Luo." Liao Yongbing was dumbfounded for a moment. He did not expect Yunxiao to catch his words and ask for it so directly. So, should he give it to him or not? If he gave it to him, the information in the words was very important. It could be said to be an important bargaining chip. It would be a pity to give it away just like that. If he didn't give it to him, he would be slapping himself in the face. This put him in a difficult position, and his expression became uglier and uglier. Yunxiao laughed and looked surprised. Could it be that City Lord Liao doesn't even have this bit of sincerity? The so-called sincerity is just to make others be sincere to you? Liao Yongbing blushed and gritted his teeth. Of course not. Even if young Master Yun didn't mention it, I was planning to give it to you later. Since you mentioned it first, there's no harm in giving it to you now. He threw out a jade talisman, which turned into a blue light and shot toward Yunxiao. Yunxiao's heart stirred. It seemed that the powerful intervention of the Baiming family had made this old fox feel a great sense of unease, so he did not hesitate to cut off his own flesh to seek an alliance. Yunxiao took the jade talisman in his hand and sent a stream of divine sense into it to read the information inside. Then, his pupils shrank and returned to normal. No expression could be seen on his face, but he seemed to be in deep thought. Liao Yongbing had been paying attention to Yunxiao's expression. When he saw that Yunxiao was so calm, he could not help but have a higher opinion of him. However, he was not in a hurry and just waited quietly. The other side would naturally be able to judge the authenticity of the content. After a while, Yunxiao finally said, "The message is true. City Lord Liao's sincerity is indeed not just a lie. I am very touched." There's no need to be touched. I hope that we can take care of each other during the operation and not let the Baiming family win. Liao Yongbing chuckled and seemed to be relieved. By the way, I'll also be going to Red Moon City in half a month's time. I hope to see if I can find some opportunities in the end of the world. Young Master Yun has a very good relationship with Red Moon City, so I hope you can take care of me when the time comes. Yunxiao smiled faintly. It was a big misunderstanding to say that he had a good relationship with Red Moon City. However, in Liao Yangbing's eyes, he thought that the other party had agreed, and his mood was instantly lifted. Although he was an overlord and the king of Haitian Town, in a place like Red Moon City, he was just an insignificant minion. With acquaintances to rely on, he felt more at ease. Liao Yongbing threw a storage bag to Yunxiao and said, "There are some supreme-grade primordial stones in here. Before I summoned young Master Yun, I destroyed a lot of primordial stones. These should be enough compensation, right?" Yunxiao glanced at it and found that it was only a little more. He smiled and said, "I can feel City Lord Liao's sincerity even more now." The two of them looked at each other and smiled. After a few more irrelevant words, they turned into two rays of light and left. A while after the two of them left, the pillar of seawater that shot up against the sky gradually became thinner and disappeared from the sea. However, the whirlpool in the sea was still rolling and stirring the surrounding sea area. At an unknown depth of the whirlpool, a group of warriors of the sea tribe with feelers on their heads and a layer of transparent shell on their bodies were gathered in a circle in fear. Their faces were filled with horror, and they held steel forks in their hands. They were on high alert as if they were facing a great enemy, and their protruding eyes were staring at the top of the whirlpool. There were hundreds of them, and no one knew what race they were from. They spent a long time in shock, not daring to move. One of them was a slightly burly man. He seemed to be the clan leader of this clan. His cultivation was at the low-level martial honored realm. His face was pale and his expression was indescribably nervous. After a long time, he cleared his throat and said, "There seems to be no more movement. Mingbu, go and check if the two experts have left." A slightly longer member of the sea tribe shivered, and fear appeared in his large protruding eyes. He didn't want to go, but he couldn't disobey the orders of his clan leader. He still bravely swam up slowly. After a long time, as long as the night, Mingbu reappeared in front of everyone and shouted, "Let's go." They all left. There are no experts outside. Voila. The people of the various races all heaved a sigh of relief. That stern aura suddenly dissipated. One by one, they bowed their bodies and swam away in the sea. The clan leader also heaved a sigh of relief. There was still a trace of fear in his eyes as he said, "One of the human men has at least the cultivation of the 9 heavens realm. Although humans often come out to hunt sea beasts in the coastal waters, it's rare for such a terrifying expert to appear. Clan leader, we are considered a high-level sea clan, and we rule the surrounding 10,000 miles of sea. Why don't we choose a deeper place to settle down? We live in fear all day long near the sea." From time to time, our clansmen will meet those human experts and die. Ming Biu said with lingering fear. Ming Biu's words immediately gained the approval of most people, but there were also some old men who sighed and shook their heads, as if there was something hidden. The clan leader also sighed, why wouldn't I want to? However, the struggle within the deep sea is even more intense. Although we are near the sea, at least we are safe and stable. Moreover, the coastal waters are in contact with the humans. Our race also shoulders the orders of the royal family to monitor the humans and build the first line of defense near the sea. Ming Biu and many of the young members of the heavenly wild shrimp tribe were shocked. Ming Biu said, monitor the humans and build the first line of defense? How can we bear such a heavy burden? Moreover, they guard the sea area for no reason, and the royal family doesn't even give them any benefits. Shut up. The clan leader's expression changed greatly as he angrily rebuked. How dare you speak so bluntly to the royal family? Do you want to die? He released his aura, and Ming Biu immediately spat out a mouthful of blood and was sent flying. The clan leader looked at the terrified Ming Biu and said coldly, be careful of the exit. It's fine if you die, but don't drag our race down with you. Ming Biu nodded his head repeatedly, his body trembling. The clan leader then softened his tone and said, there are actually benefits. In the sea area under the control of any sea clan, there would more or less be dissatisfaction and resistance from the clans under them. They would often be replaced. And in the 10,000 miles of the sea near the sea, there are 2 or 3 groups of sea clans that are on par with us, but they never dare to disobey our clan's orders. Do you think it's our clan's strength that makes them tremble? There's also the resources that these clans contribute every year, he snorted. Do you think they don't have anger in their hearts and don't want to take our place? It's all because we didn't fight for our ruling position, but because it was given to us by the royal family of Donghai. Who would dare to resist? The younger generation of the heavenly wild shrimp tribe was dumbfounded when they heard this. Only now did they know that there was such a secret behind this. The clan leader looked a little tired as he waved his hand and said, all of you may leave. Remember to do all kinds of inspections, especially in the next few days, when the palace may send envoys. You must receive them well and give the royal family a good impression. Yes. Everyone responded, and just as they were about to leave, their faces suddenly changed. A group of shadows swam over from the distance, and the huge aura they emitted was not concealed at all, shocking everyone present. The number of people in the shadows was almost equivalent to an entire sea tribe. The tribe leader of the heavenly wild shrimp tribe was shocked. He hurriedly shouted, which tribe are you from? How dare you enter the sea area under the rule of my heavenly wild shrimp tribe without warning? How dare you? His voice was extremely loud, and it reverberated on the seabed, directly entering everyone's ears. However, the shadow in front of them did not move at all. Soon, it appeared above everyone. There were hundreds of people, and each of them had fierce expressions. They were all experts. What kind of race are you? The Tianyi clan's patriarch asked in shock. I'm the commander of the coastal waters and theft by the Eastern Sea's royal family, and I'm in charge of this swan and I with the royal order. His voice suddenly stopped, and a look of horror appeared in his eyes, because he had already seen that on the battleship at the head of the crowd, an ancient true dragon was engraved.